Now, moving on then to Division 1B and round 2 in this one, starting off with the game that was live today on TG Car. Tipperary beating Galway by 126 to 24 points. And what's remarkable about this game is I think both of these sides had periods where their managers are going to be absolutely livid with them. Galway let Tipperary build up a huge lead on them. Like, Tipperary were 21-13 ahead in the 42nd minute. 8 points clear after Mark Keogh quickly fired 3 points on the resumption of the second half. And Gerard O'Connor got a brace that pushed them 21-13 ahead by the 42nd minute. Then they went 17 minutes without scoring. And Galway pulled it back to 21-20 by the 59th minute. Like, and you just know Liam Cahill and Henry Shefflin, even though Tipperary pushed on, Seamus Kennedy scored, Gerard O'Connor pushed them 26-23 ahead, and then got the penalty to finish it off. Both coaches will be quite furious with certain phases of that game.
Oh, definitely so. And that's what probably separates these sorts of sides from Limerick. Because Limerick, they stay up at the level and they're not going to be stopped. But Tipperary and Galway, like Tipperary, that was an opportunity to push on today. They didn't do so. Galway pulled it back. And really, like, even look at this on the score, I think it was 26-23. Yeah, it was 23 all. And then Tip kind of got a bit of a purple patch going. And like Tip can't be relying on those sorts of end of game rallies to get them into games. And Tip are probably, like, when you look at the panel of players that they have, we talked about Watford earlier in the chat here. But you look at Tips, you have Jake Morris, Gerard O'Connor, John McGrath, Alan Tynan, Mark Kehoe, Seamus Kennedy, Willie Connors. Like, these are quality hurlers. And they should be up with the likes of Limerick, the likes of Clare, the likes of Kilkenny. Because you look at the talent that they have.
Like Jason Ford, Noel McGrath, all these lads to throw back in on top.
And they have a decent manager, Liam Cahill, as well. And what I'm seeing in the offseason, the Chip players were unhappy with Liam Cahill's methods. But even I looked at the team in the McGrath Cup and the league game against Dublin last week, and I was thinking, how is there a negative vibe around Tipperary at the moment with the players that they have? Maybe that's the reason why. Because of these sort of lulls in games that they keep having. And that's the main thing with Tip. But what I will say, a large positive, Gerard O'Connor. Tip have been searching for a marquee forward since the likes of Seamus Cannon, Owen Kelly passed by. Gerard O'Connor for UL and for Tipperary this season has been absolutely superb. I think he scored.
Yeah, he's a machine.
10,
he's a machine.
He scored 20. I think he scored 124 or 24 points in the Fitzgibbon Cup so far for UL. During the semi-finals this week, best of luck to them. He scored 113 in this game. He's just a brilliant player. Free taking, from play. I think he's just a model player for Tipperary in many ways. And I think they need to build a team around him. Alan Tynan as well. Mark Kehoe. Jake Morris, who's been named the captain this year. That's a good move, I think, from Liam Cahill, because he was one of their standout players last year. He was the one that was driving them on in many games last year with the goals that he was getting. So I think Cahill is going about it the right way in getting the captain's armband, the free taking abilities, the team around the middle. I think he's going about it the right way. It's just about gaining a bit of concentration in certain parts of games, not letting a big lead slip like it kind of did today. So that's something that Tip need to fix up. As for Galway, 2 reliant on Evan Nyland by the looks of 11 points in this game. Tom Monaghan, Conor Whelan and Gavin Lee all got 2 points each. Some decent, and Conor Cooney got 5 as well. But the likes of Jason Flynn didn't score at all. John Cooney didn't score. And that's a worry for Galway. It really is. Jordan O'Shea midfield. He usually plays up on the forwards. What's Henry Shefflin's thinking behind that, I'm not sure. Again, Galway has some very good players. Like, you look at Pádraig Manning at centre back, Ronan Glenn and TJ Brennan. Like, there are some very good defenders in Galway, and it's all about realising that potential. They've got to semi-finals over the last 2 seasons, but I think both sides, what I'm trying to say, have very good players. But it's about knitting it together and getting to all our semi-finals, all our finals, like Kilkenny and Clare, and particularly Limerick have over the last 2 seasons.
Yeah, no, that's it. Like, it's Galway and Tipperary both have, enormous potential with the squads that they have. Look, I think Galway, Like Sean Lelan really impressed me when he came in. He brings serious bite to that Galway team, and he's a real leader. You can see him on the pitch. He doesn't let anybody disrespect any of his teammates or anything like that. Like he really steps up for his team. And on top of that, I thought Nyland was sharp up front, but he did miss a lot of opportunities from open play. His free taking is unquestioned. He's an absolute machine. So is Gerard O'Connor. But interestingly, and this is just a funny one I noticed, Gerard O'Connor must be an absolute nightmare for the guys deciding the budget. The amount of slitters that Gerard O'Connor loses, every single free he takes, he belts the ball into the next field. There's one free he had in the game there against Galway where he was on the 21 and he belted it over the net and out of the stadium. And I was just like, why are you doing that? Like, you could have just tapped it over the bar in your sleep. But you don't know, send it into the next field just for the sake of it. Now, look, nothing personal, but it's a funny thing that I noticed because he was doing it in Parnell Park as well when Tipperary beat Dublin. He must have lost at least 6 slitters. And you can tell the Tipperary lads are like, okay, that's another packet of slitters that we need now. But like, just a funny little habit that I've noticed. Yeah, look, Galway, just they can't forgive themselves for leaving themselves that much of a mountain to climb. And you're right, like Limerick never, ever, ever let a team get the run on them like that. No way. We haven't seen any team get the run on Limerick like that. And Galway do switch off for periods. And it's so frustrating to see like a team that good switch off like that. It again, we're talking about backs against the wall. Henry Shefflin has back against the wall as Galway boss. Like, make no mistake about it. The way they lost the Leinster final last year, the way Kilkenny have won 3 on the trot in Leinster, and all of those finals that they played against Galway, you could argue Galway could have won them. Like, that Galway kind of let the game pass them by, especially last year's one with Killian Buckley getting the winning goal. So if Galway finished this year with no silverware, do you see Shefflin sticking around in 25 if Galway win nothing?
It's hard to picture Shefflin staying around if Galway don't win anything. Because actually, and this is a stat that will actually, the more you look at it, the more you think it's untrue. Galway haven't won a Leinster Championship since 2018.
Yeah, that's mad.
That's such a simple stat, but it's absolutely mad in its own right because 2019 they went out of the group. 2020, 22, and 23 they lost the Leinster final. 21 they lost to Dublin when you said specifically a year ago, or I'd say, Joe Canning puts the ball down and he goes for a goal about 6 minutes in, as if Galway were
that. I remember that. There was a serious issue with their mentality that day. I remember it was Shane O'Neill's Galway, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I remember they really Billy strutted into that game. Like, they really acted like they were just going to walk through Dublin. They were like, yeah, we'll go for goal because, like, Dublin are useless, basically. Like, that was the kind of energy that they were carrying. And just to see Dublin beat them was just hilarious. Because it was just like, where did this arrogance come from? Like, I hadn't seen them be that arrogant before. Shefflin coming in, I thought, yeah. And since Shefflin's come in, you had the handshake scandal. It felt like Cody got the last laugh there. Then Cody leaves and they lose the Leinster final in the most dramatic way possible, where they just couldn't close that game out. They got dominated by Limerick in the All-Ireland semi-final, where the worst bit was for Shefflin was Galway were winning and he was caught giving caught a bit bad to use, but like, as in he was seen giving instructions for a tactical swap. And the minute that tactical swap was made, Limerick just completely took over the game. And like, everyone was saying, why did he do that? So there's questions being asked of how good a fit is he with this Galway team. And that's my point, is that, look, I'll just be fascinated to see it, that like, if he doesn't win anything, will he still be there next year?
He won't. I don't think he will. Because you said in my podcast last year, Henry Shefflin going to Galway was probably one of the worst moves that Galway have ever made. Because when you look at it, he might go to Kilkenny in future years. Derek Ling, he's doing a good job there, might I add. So he might not. We'll have to see over the next few seasons. But if he does go to Kilkenny, he'll know everything that needs to be known about Galway. Tom Monaghan, Evan Nyland, Conor Cooney, even the young lads coming through the ranks like Liam Collins and Donal O'Shea. He'll know everything about them. Gavin Lee, yeah.
He'll know exactly the type of players they don't want to be marked by.
And that's going to end up badly for Galway. And it's so hard to pinpoint.
They've done that across the board. Like, I remember the Galway footballers hired Joe Kernan, and I remember, like, they do that quite a bit, Galway. For such a big county, they seem quite happy to always turn to other people to handle their business. Like, I don't really understand what the point of that is. Like, you won the All-Ireland. Why are you hiring Henry Shefflin? Why are you not hiring Ollie Canning, Joe Canning, Fergal Moore? Like, someone who's a Galway hurling legend. I'm not saying that you have to do that, and that's maybe a bit of a small-minded concept to be like, we have to go with our own. But look at the best teams. The best team, like Kilkenny, don't turn to anyone else to show them how to play hurling. They know how to play hurling. And they trust in what their own ability is. I don't know. I wouldn't have gone with Henry Shefflin personally if I was Galway.
Yeah.
Because you could see the Brian Cody drama coming from a mile away. You knew that he wasn't going to take that well.
Yeah. And the thing is with Galway, actually, what makes it even more ironic, they won the All-Ireland with a Galway manager, Micheál Donoghue.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, why were you going for an outside manager? When you look at the best managers across the hurling circles, Limerick, John Coyley, prime example. Limerick man, knows Limerick hurling inside and out.
Shane O'Brien. It was Shane O'Brien, Galway.
Shane O'Neill, is it?
Shane O'Neill, sorry, yeah.
No, he's Limerick.
Yeah, I thought that because he was the manager of Napirsig or something, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And he just jumped again. What's up with that?
I don't know.
It's basically like you're training Henry for the Kilkenny job. You're training him up, getting his work experience out. It's like he's doing a paid internship.
Yeah,
a real job movie over here.
And the thing is as well, like even Tipperary, for example, they don't go outside the county. Liam Sheedy, Bonner, Liam Cahill, Michael Ryan, they don't go outside the county. Simple as. Yeah, exactly. Cork don't go outside the county. Like, when you think about it in history, actually, the only time Limerick, the time period that they went outside the county, getting the likes of Justin McCarthy and John Allen, that was when Limerick hurling was on its knees.
Yeah.
And other than that, when there's a good, crop of young players there, they'll make sure, okay, we need a Limerick guy here. Initially, it was TJ Ryan. Now it's John Coyley. And it works. I don't know why God do that. Like, even before Micheál Donoghue, you had Anthony Cunningham, a Galway man. You had John McIntyre, a Galway man. And before that, actually, when it's capitulated, before John McIntyre, you had Jorlock Nan, a Clare man. And look how that ended up.
Yeah. Do you know what actually is a crazy stat? I just realised this because we're talking about Galway picking Henry Shefflin. When is the last time All-Ireland champions in hurling didn't have a manager from that county? You have John Coyley with Limerick. You have Micheál Donoghue with Galway. You've got Brian Cody with Kilkenny. Liam Sheedy with Tipperary. We're already back to Davy Fitz with Clare.
Yeah.
We're already back to, like, Michael Ryan with Tipperary. We're already back to, 2012? Cody was... How long ago is this?
So long ago. Even 2005.
Cork had... was it... Donal O'Grady, wasn't it?
Donal O'Grady. I think it was Donal O'Grady or John Allen, but both of them won the All-Ireland anyway, and they both of them are Cork.
Both of them are Cork. So you're back to the start of the 2000s.
Yeah. It doesn't work.
So it doesn't work. To get you over the line, I mean, the proof is in the pudding. You want to talk about across the board? Okay, across the board. Football champions. Who's the last one in football? Dublin, Jim Gavin, a dub. Jack O'Connor, a Kerry man. Tyrone, Brian Dewar. Like, Desi Farrell is another dub. Like, you get Jim McGuinness, Donegal. Like, you can go pretty far back. Like, we have a question in here now. I don't know. Commenting, Michael Bond with Offaly 98. Is that the last time? I mean, so the last time it worked, neither of us were alive. Let's just put that out there. Yeah, definitely works. Try it out. But that's what I
Yeah.
mean, is that what we've clearly established is that you do it when you feel like you need to get up onto someone else's level. Like Donald Cusack spoke about it when he was talking about, putting the coaches from the so-called stronger counties in with the so-called weaker counties. Like that makes sense. Dublin aren't on the level in hurling right now with Kilkenny, Clare, Limerick. So it makes sense to get a coach in from there to kind of try and take us up a notch. And I was saying I would have personally hired someone like a Micheál Donoghue, someone like an Eddie Brennan, someone like that's ambitious, that definitely wants to go to the top of the mountain with a project. And Donoghue's doing well there as Dublin boss. Eddie Brennan, I think, would have been a great appointment as well. There's other examples like Michael Fennelly with Offaly when he first went in there. Like there's good examples there. But Galway, as you said, Galway had won the All-Ireland in 2017. They'd lost the final by a hair's breadth to Limerick. They had one bad year in 2019, and then it was like, okay, let's just absolutely detonate this whole team and try start again. I didn't understand it.
No, I don't either. And why? Like all the points that you mentioned are absolutely correct. Like Offaly, Dublin, even in football, the likes of Kildare in recent seasons or any other of those sorts of counties are trying to get up to All Ireland standard. That's why they're bringing these guys. Waterford, for example, with David Fitzgerald. When David Fitzgerald initially came into Waterford were the poor place. And he came in 08, got them to an All Ireland. Okay, they got hammered. But then 2 years later, they win Munster. That's the sort of bounce back ability that these managers should inflict to a county. That's the thing. But the difference in Galway, they won an All Ireland in 2017. In 2018, they were a Joe Canning drop short free away from drawing with Limerick and getting them the extra time. Why are we actually changing these sorts of managers? And what makes it even more hilarious in its own right, they went for Shane O'Neill from Limerick and they went for Henry Shefflin from Kilkenny, despite the fact that they went for one from Clare in 08 and it ended in tears. Like, it's just comical in its own right, Shane. I don't know, even talking about this, why did they appoint Henry Shefflin? And if they don't win any silverware this year, the whole project would have been an absolute failure, wouldn't it?
I mean, yeah, I personally agree. I don't think he'll be there in 2025 if they don't win something. And that does seem to be the sentiment around Galway hurling right now. So definitely the luxury time is up. It's time to deliver something. It's time to win something. It's time to win Leinster at least for the Galway hurling team.